Okay, let's get started. I have my coffee ready to go. I have my water and I have all my tools here, so let's get started. Welcome to today's live. Hello everyone, my name is Floriana and today I will be hosting a workshop, a craft along, a live demo, call it whatever you want. But basically I will be making this floral envelope card using 65-pound cardstock. For the envelope itself, I am using 110-pound cardstock, but you can also use 65-pound cardstock or any cardstock that is available to you. I have pre-cut all of the elements, as you can see, using my Cricut Maker and my Cricut Explorer. Actually, my Cricut Explorer 3. So there are some very dainty pieces, foliage, flowers. So we will be assembling all of this today, and I will be using my Precision Craft Glue by Barely Art. You can use any craft glue that is available to you. I will be using a scoring pen, a scoring stylus. This one is from Cricut. You can use also like an old used up pen, that also works. I will be using a wooden dowel to shape the petals. Again, for this, if you don't have one available to you, you could use a marker, you could use a pencil, something that is round and smooth. I will be using a ball stylus along with my foam mat to add some more shaping and to add more dimension to my flowers. I will be using an ink pen in the very end to add some lettering. Scissors, of course, if you're a paper crafter, you always need scissors. I'll be using some foam mat, the double-sided sticky foam squares, and that is it. In this example that I have here, I have also used some watercolor just to add some details to the flowers, but today, for the purpose of keeping this workshop, you know, not too long, I won't be using any like ink or anything like that, but you could use those ink pads as well. Those are really nice to add some more dimension. You could use markers, anything like that, or you could just go plain like I'm doing today. Also today, as you can see, I have chosen this beautiful pink, and I'm keeping all of my flowers the same color, the same shade, the leaves as well. So I will be starting by using my scoring pen. So right now I'm just kind of sort of spreading all of my pieces out, and I'm only taking the half sunflowers and also the daisies, and I'm sort of bringing these up here, or I'm going to center them eventually, so that I can start scoring the petals. There's another one, and let's see, set this here. So again, only the daisies and the half sunflower is what I'm using first. All of the other pieces, I'm sort of pushing them to the side or up here. And I will be taking my scoring pen to shape, or rather to add some dimension to the petals. So I'm just adding some vertical lines, like 3 or 4 for each petal. They don't have to be the same length, they don't have to be super straight. We're trying to create these like organic lines. Continue to do the same for all of the petals. Okay. Now because this sunflower is a bit bigger, you can add more lines, maybe 5 or 6. Again, they don't have to be the same length. They don't even have to have the same like distance between each other. You're sort of just adding some texture, but you want it to look natural, organic, like the actual flower would look. Hello, hello. So I love this process, this part of the process. It's very like, you know, satisfying. I like the noise that the scoring pen makes on the cardstock. So, but that's pretty much it for the sunflowers. I'm going to do the daisies now. For the daisies too, I like to add some lines, which creates texture. So I'm going to bring you guys a little bit more on this side. So yeah, like I mentioned earlier, if you don't have a scoring pen, here, this is makeup. Oh well, let's just use the other side. So if you don't have a scoring pen, you can use just like an old used up pen, doesn't have any ink. That works just as well. Thanks, Scarlet Peony. Okay. I feel like there's another daisy. Oh, there it is. I'm also gonna need this guy to add it here. But yeah, another way to add texture and just to add some more elements to your petals would be to use a marker, for example, instead of a scoring pen. But the marks that you make with a scoring pen really do, they really do create a nice texture. So it's whatever you prefer. And then when we shape the petals, it's going to make that texture even more visible. If you guys could share this live I would appreciate that so that more people can join. That would be wonderful. One more. And yes, this is my own template. I have an Etsy shop, and that's where you can shop all of my digital template. This is a digital template. Comes in an SVG format. So if you have a cutting machine like Cricut, Silhouette, Brother Scan and Cut, etc., you can use this template. It does not come as a PDF because there are some elements in here that are very like dainty and detailed. Leaves, some of the centers, as you can see. So this would be really hard to cut by hand. Not impossible, but you would need to be very comfortable with, you know, paper cutting. You would need to have special tools. So there are a lot of my designs in my shop that do come as a PDF, and they are like scissor friendly, let's call them, so they can be cut by hand, but not all of them. This would be one where you would need to use a machine. But yeah, so this is the first part. We have created some texture for our petals, for our sunflowers and daisies, so I'm going to set these aside for now. I'm still not done with them because I'm still going to sort of curl or shape the petals to give it that 3D look, a 3D dimension. Next, I am going to work on this flower, which, let me grab a bigger petal. This is the next flower we're going to work on. Okay, so I'm going to gather all of those shapes and bring them closer to me so that I can put it together. This one we will be cutting, making a small slit, so grab your scissors. Okay, I think this is all. Sometimes there's another one. Because they're all the same color for this project, it's easier for them to blend in. But I think I got them all up. One more. All right, cool. So, yeah, let's grab our scissor, and what we're going to do is cut one small slit, like so. So you want to cut it so that it goes to the center of the flower, of the shape. Okay? So we're going to do that for all of the petals, or the petal layers. Cutting a small slit. And our goal is to bring that slit all the way to the center, the very center of the flower. Good morning, Erica. Aw, thank you. I am happy to hear that. So these flowers can also be used as, like, instead of a 3D floral arrangement, they can be a 2D floral arrangement, meaning the flowers can be flat. And in that case, basically you wouldn't need to do any of the shaping, like the curling and any of that. or even this step, basically you wouldn't be doing that. You would just stack the flowers, stack all the layers on top of each other. You could still add elements like the texture that we did with the scoring pen or with a marker, of course, but you wouldn't need to do any of the shaping that we will be doing shortly with the wooden dowel or the scoring, not the scoring, the stylus, the ball stylus, none of that, to create a 2D envelope. And I will make a video on that as well to show you guys an example, but that is why I haven't like added this line in my template, so that people can use them as a 2D flower, or if they wish to make them into a 3D flower arrangement, then they can do so simply by adding this little slit and then shaping the petals with the wooden dowel. Okay, so now I'm going to take my wooden dowel, again, my whatever shaping tool that you have, and I'm going to gently slide over each petal, and I'm going to slide and then sort of move upwards. So slide and then go up, slide and then go up. So I'm using the wooden dowel and I'm using my index finger to help shape, right? So we have this shape. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is find that slit that we created, and then I'm going to overlap these two petals on each side of the slit, like so. And that's going to create this beautiful 3D-dimensional flower. Of course, now I have to add some glue so that these petals actually stay overlapped. And for that I'm going to use my, as I mentioned, my Barely Arts Precision Craft glue. I do have a code and I share that with you guys, for you guys who are on my Facebook group. For all you guys watching from other platforms, you can go in my bio and I have a discount code for 10% off of this glue. It is great because I love it because it has this really fine tip that allows for, you know, it allows you to work with really small flowers essentially. So yeah, I just added some glue and I can still like mold it with my hands so that it is nice and like three-dimensional. But that's it. That's what we're going to do for all of these flowers, and then you can sort of decide whether you want to use them as a single layer flower, which personally I think these look beautiful like this, but you can also add layers, smaller layers on top of each other to create a flower like this. Which is, for this example, that is what we will do. But I'm very passionate about showing you guys the versatility of paper flowers. They can be used in more than one way. So, but let me have a sip of my coffee. Before we continue, and some water, of course. And yeah, let me know in the comments where you guys are watching from. I am in Maryland, East Coast of the US. I'm originally from Albania, but I live in the US. And I know that my friends, my crafty friends here are from all around the world, and I always love hearing where you guys are watching from. So yeah, let me know where you are in the world. I've had friends from, I don't know, I have a lot of friends in India, in Europe. I have a lot of European friends, Germany, some people from France, and then sometimes I'll see like the reviews on my Etsy shop. That people will write them in their native language, which is awesome. Let's see. Colorado. Hello, Tweety from Colorado. I've never been to Colorado, but it's definitely on my list. It's beautiful out there. But yeah, I'm on the East Coast, and it is, we just had some severe weather last night, but a tornado watch, flood, so it was a bit intense last night. Of course, I live on the 14th floor, so I had no issues personally, but just seeing it, and then, you know, seeing your community all around you, it was intense. But yeah. Okay, so I am essentially doing the same thing, right? So this is why I'm kind of just going off topic here, because it's the same shape. What you see here is a smaller version of like these three, but essentially I'm repeating the same steps where I'm curling the petals all one direction, so in this case outward and upward, and then I am overlapping these two petals that are on each side of that slit that we cut previously. I like to put them together first just to see how the shape will come out, and then I will add the glue on one of the petals and then overlap them. Hi, Crazy Mom 24. Yes, this petal, I mean, it's a bundle. Actually, I do also have, because this is my cherry blossom petal, and I do have this available, this specific flower that I'm working on right now. I have it available as a single flower, but then I also have a bundle. This essentially is a bundle, so it includes, the template includes the envelope and then all these flowers that you see here, and the foliage and everything, butterflies. So yeah, my Etsy shop is Floral Claire Studio, so if you search that, or if you go in my bio, you will access my shop and all of my templates. So yeah, thank you for asking. And hello from Las Vegas. And then I also, if you guys check out my bio, I also have like a link to all of my tools, all of my crafty tools. From my cutting machine that I use, to like the paper, the dowel, the glue, and everything. So right now my templates are on sale, 25% off. So you can definitely take advantage of that. I also have a Michael's Makers store. Again, linked in my bio, and that's where you can find like already made projects, physical projects. So if you are not crafty and you just, or if you don't have the time, and you just want something already made, I have finished products as well as DIY kits, where basically I pre-cut all of the elements like you see here, and then you basically are the one who assembles the elements to create your own one-of-a-kind handmade floral or paper flower piece. Or it could be other things like, for example, I have my mushrooms. I'm about to release a summery, citrusy template and other fun paper projects. A lot of them are kid friendly, so if you're looking for something fun to do with your kids this summer, make sure that you check out my templates and my Michael's Maker Place shop. So, okay, let's keep on keeping on. But yeah, I've had a lot of people ask. I have a short tutorial. I post my short tutorials, my reels on TikTok, but also on Instagram and all the other platforms. And I had a few people ask me to do like a live demo of how I make these flowers. So I thought I would do this today. But I also think it's the perfect time actually, because it's June and there's a lot of weddings in June, and this card, this floral envelope card, I think will look really pretty as a wedding invitation, or just like a wedding card. One of my crafty friends suggested to do an all white floral envelope, and I think that also will look very pretty. At the moment I'm all out of my white 65-pound cardstock because I was going to do the all white today. I also think the pink shows up a little bit better for the video, or the live video rather. But yeah, as you can see, I mean, look at the big difference between the flat shape and then all of these 3D flowers that we made. It really, I don't know, I love making 3D flowers. I think it's just beautiful, and I think it's awesome that like with just paper and essentially glue and your hands, you can create these cute shapes. So I hope you guys are enjoying this, if you're crafting along just as much as I am. And you know, as you can see, like I like to take my time with my flowers. I like to just, I don't know, typically I will listen to music. I totally forgot to put on some music today, but next time I'll put on some music. I'll have maybe a podcast that I'm listening to, or some YouTube thing, and obviously I have my coffee. I should take a sip of my coffee. And just, I basically enjoy the process just as much as the finished product. Okay. I don't know what all these hearts mean, but okay. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are the best. Alright. So yeah, if you're looking for this specific flower, look for the cherry blossom in my shop. This is the cherry blossom. And then if you're looking for the card, just type card, or just, you know, browse through my hundreds of templates and find something that you love. So now I'm doing these smaller ones. I'm going essentially from biggest to smallest. And then I will layer these petals to form one or two flowers. I'm going to do this first. As far as the glue, I mean, you guys know I've been an avid Barely Craft glue user for years, but any craft glue would work. Of course, if it has that fine tip, that's great because it really allows you to work in a precise and clean way. But any type of glue would work. The only glue that I wouldn't suggest would be the hot glue, because it's with these smaller flowers it really can be a bit messy. But if you're in a pinch, any type of glue works. For those of you who missed maybe the beginning, or maybe are in a rush and don't have time to watch the whole thing, this will be reposted in my Facebook group. It's a private group. My gosh, I wish I would have linked it in my bio. I will. As soon as this live is done, I'll link it in my bio. But that's essentially where all of my lives live. It's in my private Facebook group. Sometimes I'll post freebies on there. I announce like special offers, exclusive offers and stuff like that. But it's free to join. And it's called Floral Flair Workshops. I will link it in my bio. It is not in my bio as of yet. I think you can search it, even though it's a private group, and then you can just request to be added. Oops. If not, make sure that you follow me, and then you can come back to my profile and check the link in my bio, because like I said, as soon as we are finished with the live, I will add that Facebook group link to my bio. I also am doing monthly free templates in my Instagram, so make sure you follow me on there too. And yeah. Started doing my nails lately, but I'm still like not used to having like long like fake nails, so it just feels so different. But I know it's time for me to redo my nails, to like have them done again. But but it's been nice not having to like paint my nails every single day or every other day. So that's been nice. And also I can do like other work, you know, without having to worry about my nails breaking. Been awesome. But yeah, so now I'm going to layer some of these cuties. Like I said, you could also use them individually. I think they're adorable and beautiful, and you could like bunch them up. It could be one section of the card, but I'm going to stick to my original design for today, and I'm going to layer these. So I'm going to use this one as the first, and then this one will be the second, and then I'm going to do this one for the third. So essentially you want them to be a little bit smaller as you are going towards the center. So that will be one. This one will be the second one. It's the third. Actually, no, I want this to be a little smaller. So of course, I'm just like layering them so that I know what goes where. But now I'm going to flip it over, and I'm gonna add one dot of glue, like right here. There. Then I'm going to take like the next part that goes on top, and I'm just gonna place it on there, and then using my wooden dowel, I'm gonna kind of guide it and just hold it down a bit so that the glue adheres. And also dries. But I find that using like something sharp, like a skewer or I don't know, any kind of tool, just so that you're holding down that middle part, helps a lot. Okay, repeating the same thing. So this is what we have so far. Oh, never mind. I'll have to do that again. Oh my gosh. Alright. So as you can see, I'm keeping the petals in the same direction. Like they're really on top of each other. Okay, let me just push this in a little bit more. Okay. Let's try this again. Let me actually use my tool here. I'll show you guys up close. So it looks cute with 2 layers too. But we're gonna keep on adding more. So first lay it flat and then go in with your tool. Right now I'm using my reverse tweezers and just push in the middle and just wait a couple seconds so that the glue dries. It doesn't have to dry completely, but just enough so that the flower layers stay. Okay, oh my gosh, so pretty. And then repeat. So impatient, I want to show you guys what it looks like. Very pretty. Of course I am biased because I need the flower, but this is also like a great filler flower for like bigger arrangements. I tend to use this flower like single layers of it. I tend to use it on my giant jumbo giant oversized flowers. Just like I'll add like a few onto the petals. It looks so pretty. If you guys have seen my like, big flower wall, you may have noticed it. But okay, let me put it up once again. Look how cute that is. Look. Isn't that pretty? So now I'm going to repeat the same thing for these other two. Or, well, yeah, it's two more, but these have fewer layers. So in this instance, I added the glue to the layer that will go on top instead of adding it to the layer that's already on the bottom. Doesn't matter. It's just as long as the two layers are attached. Okay, so our cherry blossom inspired flowers are all done. I totally was supposed to add this one here, as you can see, but I'll fix that later. I want to move on now and show you guys how I do the rest of the flowers. So we're going to go back to the sunflowers. And using my wooden dowel, I'm going to shape the petals. So make sure that the side where you added the texture, whether with a marker or the scoring pen like I showed you, make sure that side is facing up. And then go in with your wooden dowel, put your hand or fingers underneath and put some pressure. You can also put your fingers around so that the paper wraps essentially around the wooden dowel. So And that's going to create a bit more dimension. Okay, let's repeat the same thing. Now these two layers are going to form one flower. So we're going to use the glue to stack these two layers, and this time we're going to make sure that the petals sort of alternate, the placement of the petals alternate, so that basically you want to see even the petals underneath. So you don't want to do this, not this, but you want to spread them out so that you can see the bottom and the top. The bottom layer and the top layer. So I'm going to add some glue to the base or the center. I'm going to stack them. And then later on, we're going to also add the center, but the center is not ready yet. So I'm just going to move on to the second sunflower and do the same thing. You could even use a smaller wooden dowel here. But I think this works just as well to create a little bit of a 3D effect. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing, stacking the two layers and alternating the placement of the petals. Okay, so we're going to set these aside for now, and we're going to continue with our daisies. Similar technique. And the daisies also are going to have two layers. And these flowers would also make a beautiful crown, like a flower crown. So even though today I'm using them to make this floral envelope card, there are so many different ways that you could use these flowers. They will look beautiful in a shadow box. You could hang them as a garland, etc., etc. Alright, so just like we did for the sunflowers, we're going to stack two layers to make one daisy, and we're going to alternate the placement of the petals so that we can see the petals from the first layer or the bottom layer as well as the top layer. Okay, and remember we're also going to add the center, but because for the center I need to use different tools, I am leaving that for later. Okay, so as you can see, some flowers are very easy to make, like they don't take as much time. Other flowers, like these ones, take a little bit more time, but ultimately it's all worth it in the end. Let's see, we have about 10 minutes left because I'm going to end the live at 11:30. And then obviously we're going to continue with part 2 to finish it all off. So in these 10 minutes, I guess I will do the leaves, the foliage. Again, there's nothing wrong with leaving the foliage, the leaves, the way it is, the way they are. But if you wanted to sort of take it up a notch and continue with that 3D theme, then this is what I do. Yeah. So these have some very dainty parts, as you can see, so you want to be gentle, you want to be careful. But essentially we're just going to push the wooden dowel. You're going to push the wooden dowel onto your finger, like so. And maybe even just like rotate it a little bit, just to give it a slight curve. And you're going to do the same thing for all the individual leaves. That is what I like to do. And even though it seems like a small difference, maybe it does make, once you arrange everything, it does make a difference because everything looks three-dimensional, right? So, but yeah, that's it. You can really see how, maybe if I show you guys the flat one versus the one that you can really see the difference. It's subtle, but to me it's worth it. Again, it's totally up to you. That's the beauty about these templates, right? Even though you're using the same template, and even for me, like when I use the same template multiple times, like it never comes out exactly the same, right? Every piece is handmade, therefore every piece is unique and slightly different. Whether you're changing the technique or the paper you're using or the colors. And then keep in mind, like you want, for example, here I have these leaves facing this way or going this way, these ones going the other way, right? Because I want to have variety. I don't want all these leaves to be on one side. So as I'm adding my texture or my dimension, I'm mindful and I'm sort of envisioning how these pieces will come together in the end. Now the template comes with 2 kinds of leaves, as you can see. I sometimes use these other ones, sometimes I don't. Like here, for example, I opted to not use the other leaves because I felt like I had already done so much with like the different shades of pink and the watercolor details that I just decided to leave them out. I mean, I still don't know if I'm going to include them in the end. I think that because this is like a monochromatic arrangement, I could, but we'll see. Anyway, so this is what I do with these leaves. I just gently curl mostly the sides upward, like so. And again, here's the difference between the curled and not curled leaves. Right? It kind of depends on the look that you're going for. Okay. Oh, and then one more. Let's do this side. Alright, so we have our leaves, our foliage is done. I'm actually going to put all of the flowers that are finished and shaped on this side. Foliage, of course. And let's see, I suppose I could start with the centers. So what I do for the centers is I use my foam mat and the ball stylus. These actually come in a set, and again I have these linked in my bio. They come as a set, so you have like different sizes depending on the size of your project, on the size of your flowers. Oh, thank you so much. And basically I'm going to use this size for the centers. So these are the centers for the daisies and the sunflowers. So I'm going to pull all those pieces and place them onto my mat. Make sure I don't miss any. Oh, right in front of me. So I have them on my foam mat. If you don't have a foam mat, I mean, you could like layer a couple of felt sheets. You could also just like use your hand, but basically I go around like the scalloped edge of the circle, applying a little bit of pressure, not too much. And what that does, again, it creates some dimension. Okay, I'm going a little bit more with the small one, and it pulls those up, the scalloped edges up even more. Again, subtle, but necessary and cute. Same thing, first you go in with the bigger side of your ball stylus, mostly focusing on the edges, and then you go in with the smaller size, again focusing on the edges, and then pulls it up even more. Here I'm just going to use the small because they're already so small. So then I'm going to stack these centers, essentially like that. Some of them have two, some of them have like fewer, three, some of them have one circle, right? But this is what I use for the daisies. You could also cut out more if you want all of them to have multiple layers. But this is what I do. So for the big one, for the big sunflower, I use two. And then making sure you only put glue on half of it, or you could put glue here and then put the center. So there's our half sunflower. The centers could also be yellow, you know, it really depends the look you're going for. But again, today I'm going for this simple monochromatic look. So yeah, our half sunflowers are done, daisies are done, the cherry blossoms are done. I just have to fix this extra one that I did not add. Our leaves are done as well. So we're like almost there, but I'm gonna stop here for today, and I will continue next Wednesday. The time, I still have to assign the time. I will let you guys know. Typically on, you know, my Facebook group or Instagram is where I update you guys. But yeah, next time we will continue with the mini peonies and then the mini chrysanthemums. And that's it. The center, or not the center, but the envelope as well, to finish off our floral envelope project. Thanks again for watching. Thank you for being here. And if you are curious about like my templates, again, check out my Etsy shop, floralflairstudio.etsy.com, or the link in my bio. Thanks guys, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.